Deaths surging to over 10,000 in the U.S. The Surgeon General warning this week is our Pearl Harbor moment. Americans told to brace for the hardest times many will experience in their lives. But in New York, the epicenter, a glimmer of hope. What the governor has revealed here. Alarming news from London. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson, battling coronavirus, now moved to intensive care as doctors say his condition has worsened. Late word from Richard Engel. Dire shortages on the front lines. We go inside one of the hardest hit ICUs in the nation. Plus the Situation Room clash over the unproven drug President Trump has repeatedly touted to treat COVID-19. Holy Week now underway, and the rising concerns about houses of worship ahead of Passover and Easter.
They would rather come to church and worship like free people than they have live like prisoners.
Churches in a number of states still packed. Caring for a loved one showing symptoms. Our Kate Snow, her personal story, her husband quarantined in one part of the house, the struggles so many families are facing. And the surprise diagnosis, a Bronx Zoo tiger, the first animal in the U.S. to test positive. What does it mean for your pets?
This is NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
Good evening, everyone. There's late word tonight of the worsening condition of British Prime Minister Boris Johnson, now moved to the intensive care unit of a London hospital as he battles coronavirus. A major world leader, now a face of a diagnosis shared by nearly 1.5 million people worldwide. And coming as the United States reached another staggering milestone. Over 10,000 deaths, lives we mourn, as we enter a week that health officials say will test us like nothing before. Our team is standing by, and we begin with NBC's Miguel Almaguer.
As Americans brace for what many expect will be a grim week, our national death toll has now hit a staggering new benchmark. The Surgeon General calling this week, in the fight against the coronavirus, our Pearl Harbor, our 9/11 moment. Behind each number, a heartbroken family. Police Sergeant J.J. Smith and wife Gloria were just starting a new life together after his retirement. They died days apart.
The world lost some of the most loving people.
With leaders at the White House urging Americans who don't need to shop this week to avoid grocery stores, states like New York are not alone in crisis. In Michigan, the Detroit Convention Center is becoming a massive field hospital. In Louisiana, where the governor maintains he didn't know Mardi Gras could trigger an outbreak, the New Orleans area now has the highest death rate in the country. At a nursing home in Indiana, 11 residents have died from the virus, while several others have been hospitalized.
Everyone is susceptible to this, and everyone needs to follow the precautions that we've laid out.
While cities like Boston are preparing for a 9 p.m. curfew, in Colorado, doctors unveiled a plan for how to prioritize life-saving treatment when faced with too many COVID-19 patients.
After 23 days, I'm still shedding the virus.
Nurse Lisa Merck, who caught the virus nearly a month ago, cleared her mandatory quarantine but tested positive again after she insisted on checking her status before returning to work.
I feel like it's just dangerous that we're not checking our healthcare workers before they go back to work.
Hospitals in the South need all the nurses and doctors they can get. Georgia experiencing a rapid rise in cases, but its peak may be weeks away. Blaine Alexander is in Atlanta.
Today starts the first full week of the state's shelter-in-place order. Most businesses are closed, but the governor has ordered the beaches back open. But some local leaders who closed the beaches in the first place call the move reckless.
After some Americans spent their first weekend wearing homemade face coverings in public, some regions still saw large gatherings like this farmers market in Los Angeles. Despite a weekend surge in ICU cases here in California, the governor is giving 500 ventilators to New York and other regions who desperately need them now. Mary Lou Armour, a Bay Area detective who got sick on the job, was on a ventilator for nearly a week. After being advised not to go to the ER when she arrived, doctors couldn't save her life.
I'm going to miss her voice. I'm going to miss her calling us.
Tonight, the true toll of this crisis still unfolding, measured one life at a time. Miguel Almaguer, NBC News, Los Angeles.